Confidence is one of the most alluring and attractive qualities a person can have, but it's also something that many of us struggle with, especially in dating. Well, today we're going to tackle the topic of confidence head on with none other than the fabulous Silky Nutmeg Ganache. That's right, y'all. You might know Silky from RuPaul's Drag Race, where she wowed us with her charisma, uniqueness, nerve, talent, and undeniable confidence. And in this episode, we're going to explore what confidence really means, how to call it into your everyday life, and how to bring that confidence into your dating life as well. Silky will share about her own confidence struggles in dating and the changes she's making to become more confident. We'll hear about Silky's advice on handling rejection and learn what it means to live as fully and authentically yourself. All right, y'all. Now let us get inspired by Silky. It's time to flirt.
I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and a gay Libra. Everyone has an inner flirt.
Hey, flirty.
Live, laugh, flirt.
Work the flirt.
Work the flirt. Delulu is the Salulu. Expert on the flirt.
Hey, flirty. There's always another flirt.
Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt.
Attitude check, flirties. It's the first official confidence episode of Flirtations, and on the show today is none other than performer, entertainer, star Silky Nutmeg Ganache. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been following you for a very long time. And you've helped me through a lot of relationships that are non-existent today. So,
and I love that you're a flirty, Silky. I do, as I've been following your journey for quite a while as well. The flirties may know you from season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race, season 6 of All Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so excited to have you on the show today. But first things first, to please ask you to please share a little bit more about yourself, your story, who you are with the flirties.
Oh my goodness. So I was born and raised in Mississippi. Mossfort, Mississippi, to be exact, a place where dreams do not come true. And I fought my entire life to get out of there. And I have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and I started a PhD program.
Wow.
And for me, every day, I'm just a person that give love the way I want to give it. So that means sometimes it's a little combative, sometimes it's very fun, a lot flirty, and but I just live my life every day like it's my last day, and I always encourage people to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good already. We're going to be getting into more of your story. And the question here I want to ask here at the top of the show is, as we're really going to be focused on the theme of confidence, it's going to keep coming back, I think, throughout the conversation today. But what does confidence mean to you?
Just simply being able to live in your own skin. And with confidence come ambition. It exudes character. And that's simply what my confidence is. I'm so comfortable within my own skin. And it didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
It started as a kid. I was my mom's fattest kid out her womb. And I always have been fat. Always been plus size diva my entire life. Don't know what I would look like skinny. But thank God, knock on wood, I don't have any health issues or anything. But as a kid, I used to look in the mirror and I used to pick one thing I liked about myself every day. And that's how I got to know myself, my body. And I think that's where the backbone of my confidence comes from.
I love that. I'm picking up on just like a theme of self-love in many ways to start building that confidence. So I got a couple questions here from the flirties that are like, the question is about where do I start if I don't feel comfortable with myself in my skin, if I'm struggling with some of those aspects of authenticity, of really being even vulnerable with myself, being true to myself, where could I start with that?
I think it started like as I said as a kid, I used to look in the mirror
Mm.
and I used to look in the mirror and literally pick one thing about myself. I have really tiny ears. I don't think
Mhm.
nobody has ever noticed that. Okay. Had to turn my ringer off, honey.
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb me, honey. I am in full effect with Ben, honey. Um, I used to look in the mirror as a kid and I look at a
Mhm.
different part of my body. And a lot of times we don't have self confidence because we don't even know ourselves. We don't even know our bodies.
Yeah.
We ain't even looked in the mirror at ourselves, turned around and seen what that back part looked like, what the front parts look like.
Mhm.
And I always say to start looking at yourself because
Mhm.
you, a part of my confidence is nobody can tell me anything about myself that I don't already know because
Mm.
I've already dissected myself.
Yeah.
Um, and I've accepted who I am, not only as a person, but as a living and being creature on this earth.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's where you start off, just knowing who you are, what you look like.
Mhm.
And that's really hard to do. A lot of people don't want to look at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I feel like the moment you look at yourself in the mirror and you get to know your body and you accept your body first, it'll bring on a whole new confidence.
Yeah.
You'll probably, people that dress head to toe. You see me on Drag Race, like in leotards, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you wore that." I wear crop tops on the daily, and I wear it to the stores and through the
Yeah.
airports. Like it's my body,
Right.
and nobody's gonna touch me,
Yep.
and nobody is going to talk down to me
Mhm.
because it's my body. It's a lot of people put on to you a lot of their very own insecurities.
Yeah.
And I have dealt with my insecurities and I'm not going to deal with yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be so helpful for the flirties already, and it's helpful for me too, as I am thinking to myself, I don't know when is the last time like I actually looked in the mirror, and I mean when I'm trimming my mustache or something like that, but like actually looked in the mirror truthfully and asked myself a hard-hitting question about how I want to show up, or maybe how I want to move through some insecurities. So yeah, I think an exercise I myself might try in the near future. And I want to ask you now, because I got some questions about insecurities and if confidence can exist alongside insecurities, if they have to be kind of mutually exclusive from one another, and how you can balance having some insecurities, having some perhaps internal struggles, but still being confident. Can they exist at the same time?
Absolutely. Well, a little thing that y'all don't know, when Benjamin hit me up about um, doing this talk, I was like, I don't know if I'm the best person for it because I
Hmm.
know that your work primarily is like in relationships. That's where I know
Hmm.
you from,
Hmm.
relationship coach. And I was just like, I'm a very confident person. I'm confident in my career.
Hmm.
But at the same time, when dating, I'm not confident.
Mm. Yeah.
I feel like that's the one aspect of my life all my insecurities show. I'm currently dating.
Hmm.
And even before getting on this podcast, I was like, I'm excited to do it, but I'm a little nervous to do it. And
Yeah.
I was just like, because a lot of people don't know, like, my insecurities show up the most, like, when dating.
Hmm.
And, one of my love languages, words of affirmation. Like, you have to constantly tell me, like,
Yeah.
what it is up front. And as I was expressing it to him today, he was just like, you are beautiful. You have a lot to
Mm.
share with the world.
Mm.
So, yes, I'm very confident, but, I'm one that has insecurities as well. I need words from people at times that matters to make sure that I am at my best.
Mm.
So You know, even like when y'all see us on Drag Race, you know, I was scrutinized by the world, but I didn't care because my mother enjoyed what I did. My brother enjoyed what I did.
Mm.
My gay parents enjoyed what I did. So those are the people that matters the most. So you can have insecurities, but I think as a human being, you have to know how to check those insecurities and make sure that you don't spiral out of control.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I remember, yeah, I did. I reached out to you. I sent you a DM. I was like, Silky, I got an idea for you. Would you like to come on Flirtations and do this episode? And I explained a little bit about what I wanted to focus on for the show. And yeah, you were like, yeah, I'm not sure because this is like an area where my insecurities really show up. And so in dating. But I was
Mhm.
so glad like we went back and forth a little bit, got it scheduled, and here we are recording because this is a part of it. Like this is, I hope
Mhm.
the one of the big takeaways that the flirties get is confidence isn't absent of insecurities. Confidence isn't absent of sometimes having those thoughts to yourself of like, ooh, like what if I'm not good enough, this or that, sort of whatever that internal monologue is saying.
Right.
Yeah, it's how you
Yeah.
work through it.
It's definitely how you work through it. And for me, it's an ongoing process. Like
Yeah.
I'm a very confident person. Like, don't get me wrong, but there are days where I'm like, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it's natural. Like when I
Mm-hmm.
first started dating this guy, I used to change clothes 3 or 4 times before a date.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because that I didn't like it or I would be like, oh my goodness, am I overdressed to go to the movies? Am
Yeah.
I overdressed? You know, oh, what is you think he's gonna wear or what his friends are gonna wear, and we're going out for a drinks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's okay to have those insecurities. Just check yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so we love a good meet cute moment here on Flirtations. Could you share how you two initially met?
I'm embarrassed to say, but I was at karaoke here in Houston.
Yes.
Um, one of my good friends was the karaoke host, and
Okay.
it was his last night hosting after 15 years.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I paid for a drink that night. I got to singing. I love to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually training right now to audition for Broadway next year.
Yes.
But I just went in. I was singing. I was having a ball, a good time,
Mm-hmm.
laughing. And he came up to me and he introduced himself. He knew of me from the show, but he don't really watch the show, which is amazing because you don't find that often.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he basically loved my vibe that night because I was singing, chatting with
Yep.
everybody, having a good time. And I actually don't quite remember meeting him that night,
Mm-hmm.
to be if we were honest. And we exchanged numbers and we just started chatting from there. And he asked me to go out with him. And that's how it all began. And
Yeah.
that's where we at now. And he's met a couple of my friends. I've met a couple of his friends. And he's a really cool guy. He's nothing like any of the guys I've ever dated.
Yeah.
But I think part of that is because I keep telling myself I'm gonna do things different this time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, because when dating, most of my insecurities come out. I would give a dude a third degree just because it's Tuesday. And so again, like I said, check yourself. I've been checking myself this whole time.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, Silky, let's not do that. You
Mm.
you're living life great. Tomorrow will be my 1 year anniversary of living in Houston and buying my house. And I'm
Nice.
just like, you have everything going for yourself. So if it don't work out, it just don't work out. It's like it's not going to change anything about you or who you are as a person, you know? So I'm actually trying to bring confidence that I have within myself into this dating phase, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
100%.
yeah.
Wow, that's going to be so good because I definitely got some questions here, of course, about dating and cultivating, building, creating, having, exploring confidence in dating as well. And so I'm curious from your perspective, what are some things that you feel like you are doing
different this time around? Is it more so mindset or strategy?
I think it's more the mindset.
Mm.
I'm a completely different person when dating.
Mm.
I'm very dominant in everyday life. Dating, I'm very submissive.
Okay.
And this time around, well, it's a difference too, because he's like an actual man.
Okay.
And I love it. Like, he's a man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was getting a little crazy with him one day, and he kind of checked me. And I just had to sit there and be like, okay, you ate that. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm get back into, my place. My anxiety and my insecurities usually drive the relationship with me.
Okay.
And I am literally, it's not even on the passenger side, it's on the back seat this go round.
Wow.
Like, sit back there and we'll check on the kids through the rearview mirror.
I say, hey, anxiety, you hang out back there, pipe down a little bit. We got to drive this car.
We got to drive this car, honey. We're gonna drive it with responsibility and accountability. And I think that's the difference in dating this time. And it's actually letting my confidence exude, because when I mentioned that, like, I have, like, this, even to today, like, I have insecurities, and he was just like, why? And I guess I've never shown him that, or to show him, like, that vulnerable side of me. And he was trying to get it out of me, but I was like, we could talk later about it, because I'm preparing for this.
Yeah.
But now I have to have a real conversation with him. And kind of introduce the kids. Anxiety and insecurity.
And who's in the back seat?
Who's on the back seat, so he could be looking through the river mirror too, But I'm not putting my insecurities on him. And I realized too, we're not getting married tomorrow. We don't have to get married next year.
Right.
Or the year after. We're just dating and having fun. And if we become exclusive and he become my boyfriend on down the line, that's fine. But we're just dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it is. And I haven't been trying to get in his pants, which is a big part of it,
Okay.
A huge part of it, because it's been about 6-7 weeks now, and usually I will be ready. I'm usually the first one to make the first step.
Yeah.
I know y'all say silky, insecurities and all, but when it comes, I know my body and I know myself, and I know that I like intimacy.
Yeah.
And so then I get very confident with that.
We got some needs.
Yeah.
Some wants and needs. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that can be off-putting at times,
Sure.
At times, it could be like very, is this what you want out of me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, no, this is not what I want out of you, but this is a part of it.
Yeah.
And why we got to wait.
Yeah. Something to explore, but sounds like this is also part of the maybe strategy, doing things a little differently this time is.
It is.
Waiting. Yeah.
Because if I, let me just be honest, if I jump into the pool with you.
Yeah.
And I like to swim. Anxiety and insecurities will start to drive the relationship.
I feel you completely there.
And that's just me being honest. It will completely drive it. Because now, in my mind, once my mind say that you're my man, you are my man whether you have accepted that or not. And
I feel that, yeah.
If you ain't accepted it, and I didn't accepted it, and you fighting against it, now we're going to have some problems.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I'm holding off as long as I can.
Okay. I get that. Letting anxiety, insecurity stay in the back seat, right? Be mindful of them. We can have a talk, bring them into the conversation when need be. But I love, like, this is why I was even more excited to have this conversation with you, is because it's confidence can exist in parts of our life and feel like it's just, we can feel like we lack confidence in others. So if it could be career, it could be
Mm-hmm.
related to a hobby, an interest, a passion, whatever, really driven, determined, motivated for this thing. But then
Mm-hmm.
in other parts of your life, feeling a lack of confidence, maybe more anxiety, more insecurities present. And this has been the exact duality for me, where I have been oftentimes more ambitious, more confident in sort of my ability to quote unquote like perform in a way when it comes to career or something like that. But then when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
relationships and connections and dating, feeling like, oh, this is where I get more submissive as well. And I may lead with anxiety, insecurities. I may like what I'll do is just default, let the other person make all the decisions. They set the
Mm-hmm.
pacing. They're the one that sets the tone for communication. They're doing everything where I'm just kind of this participant in the dating process. And it's like, well, shoot, like that's actually not how I want to date. That doesn't serve me at all. I would
No.
get pushed around, right? Just like not feeling like I was really a part of it, like really in it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And child, I gotta be a part. And I'm trying to assert myself more. So I guess that's part of a strategy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Asserting myself more and trying to speak up for myself.
Mm.
Because contrary to popular belief,
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship, I'm not fighting.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. I'm not doing any of that.
Mm-hmm. Keeping the
And so,
peace.
it's going to be very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the first ones to bow out. And it's so
Okay.
crazy because my gay family and my family know that I like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And because they usually I start a phase of trying to run them away.
Yeah.
And I haven't tried to run him away yet.
Mm-hmm. There's maybe another difference is like some different defense mechanisms coming up, or maybe the avoidance of feeling some of the discomfort, the anxiety. It's like being
Mm-hmm.
able to be more with it this time
Right.
around, not have it be in the front seat with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, Silky, this is a huge difference.
I'm trying. I
Yeah,
am
you
putting in the
are.
effort. I want to have kids before 40. I
Uh-huh.
am 33. So we got
Okay.
7 years to try to get a husband if I can live my Stepford wife fantasy. My
Yeah.
Stepford wife fantasy where I'm cooking and cleaning every day and
Mm.
taking the kids to school and you know.
Yeah.
And so I gotta
And you got
make
the
some things happen.
house. Already a homeowner. Uh-huh.
I'm already a homeowner. This
Uh-huh.
big beautiful house by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Oh, all right. Yeah. I feel it. I feel it for you, Silky. I do. I do. I want to ask you now, and this question came from a flirty, and that is some yes, some strategies you have when you maybe aren't feeling your most confident self to show up more for yourself. Like maybe if you've had some moments on stage or performing where you're just like, oh, I'm not feeling it today, but I got to get out there and put on a show, or I want to, yeah, really tap into that inner confidence maybe when you're not feeling it.
I'm not sure, like career wise, I'm not sure if it's confidence or I'm serious about my money.
Okay.
I
Okay.
am a true businesswoman when it comes to
Okay.
like that. Like a true businesswoman, I would go on stage. I remember being in Hawaii and I literally had a fight with one of the guys that I was off and on with,
Hmm.
like right before stage. And I remember just crying. And the show director was like, "You need a moment." I was like, "Play my music. It has an introduction. I will be there." And I get on stage like nothing ever happens.
What?
So the stage for me is one place where nothing personal or nothing will ever get in the way.
Okay.
Y'all
Okay.
can see that on Drag Race, like
Mm-hmm.
season 11. Like, if
Lip
I didn't know
sync.
something,
Yes.
I was gonna do it really big and wrong,
Mm-hmm.
or I was always gonna do it big.
Okay.
Because for me, the stage is a privilege and an honor to be on the stage.
Yeah.
And any stage that I get on, because as queer beings, we don't often get a platform to be on the stage. So on the stage, I must always show up and show out. But baby, behind closed doors is another situation.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if I'm not feeling it, or like today, I wanted to go to the gym, but I'm not feeling it. My allergies are bothering me. It's like raining.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, honey, I'm gonna do this interview and then we'll see what's the day gonna be after.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. But sometimes you have to know when to like you need a day off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we have to know what recharges us as beings
Mm-hmm.
because that also keep our confidence level up.
Mm.
I know I've had times where I was just dog tired.
Yeah.
And it's hard to just be confident in myself. Like just to be like, for example, like just getting to a gig, you know.
Mm.
I'm usually like in first class when I fly. And so I kind of like to look decent with a
Mm-hmm.
cute little outfit flying. Mm-hmm. But if I'm dog tired and I'm not feeling confident, you never know what I'm gonna show up to the airport looking like.
We might get a crop top and
No, I always wear a crop top.
Yeah, you always do the crop top.
You're
Okay.
actually not gonna get a crop top
I
if
see.
I'm not confident.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
You probably get like a nice shawl, some jeans, my hair wrapped up. It's not even gonna be flat ironed down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be me not trying to talk to anybody. And you'll know. Because people are like, can I get a picture, Silky? Not today.
Not today. Headphones are in.
It's like, not today. Give me a hug, baby. Go about your business.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling it today. And oh my goodness, now that to think about it, that's when a lot of people can tell. Because I'm one of the girls that I say no to a picture. A lot of girls say yes, whether they feeling good or bad. If I'm not feeling good or I'm not feeling it, I'll come over here.
Hug, but no picture.
Come get you a hug and move on. I don't want you to remember me because a lot of times I hold sadness in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that.
Yeah.
So, baby, I don't want you to take this picture. You be like, oh my God, you remember we took this picture? Yeah. And I know exactly the look.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh,
yeah.
All right.
That's such good advice, though. It's recognizing and knowing yourself when you do need to take a break or you need some time for yourself or something that's helped me, you know, if I'm not feeling super confident, you know, maybe before an interview for the show or getting to make a video or a coaching call. It's like I try and reframe that experience as an opportunity. I try and set one single goal of something I want to learn, one thing to focus on, just giving myself that single point of focus so I can distract myself from not feeling my full confident self and see if I can make it an opportunity to learn something or just a step forward in the right direction. Yeah. Just try and sort of set myself up with a little bit of a positive mindset.
Absolutely.
So good. And I'm curious now, I want to hear a little bit more about your journey to become Silky Nutmeg Ganache. When you started performing, if you were always Silky, when you start really, getting into drag for the first time.
Honestly, on a performance wise, I've always been Silky.
Okay.
It's so crazy because right after season 11, I went to my family reunion, and it was just like the person that they see on television who they think is crazy and unhinged. It's the person we have grew up with our entire life. So nothing about me has changed from a kid all the way up to now.
Okay.
I did drag based on a bet because I never wanted to do drag ever. The drag queens that I were around when I was in college were the kids that did drag when I was in college, the crazy ones. Okay. And there was always some type of drama, always some type of something going on. And I ended up finding myself senior year doing drag. And after I graduated and I actually started doing drag, I find myself going back to those people. And it made me realize is they wasn't the drama. They were just the entertainment that I never knew I needed in college.
Okay.
The break from reality. Like, crazy things would happen. Like,
Yep.
imagine getting white girl wasted and going to McDonald's asking for a steak McGriddle, something that's not even on the menu.
Right.
And we was with those people, like, and we laugh about it.
Uh-huh.
And going through the McDonald's drive-through and then had a good time, and somebody's just like order it, and they were like, "Hold on, I got to throw up," and then they throw up, and then the attendant like throw up. Like,
Uh-huh.
these are funny stories that we have.
Yeah.
So drag has always been fun for me.
Okay.
I've taken it seriously because I love to do pageants
Mm-hmm.
and I like to compete. So from that sense, it's very serious for me.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, drag is fun. The best part of drag is the dressing room. The
Yeah.
girls reading and talking mad crazy with each other.
Yeah.
And I went on to Drag Race doing drag the way I like to do it.
Okay.
Reading, having a good time. The confessionals is like a little part, because what people don't know is when I did my confessionals, the confessional rooms are next to each other. Everybody heard me in my confessional room. So it's not like they didn't hear what I was saying in my confessionals.
Right.
Everybody heard everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we laughed about it. Brooklyn was always after me, and she was just like, "Girl, you just let me have it." I said, "And did. And I'm going to do it again tomorrow." And that's something we always laughed about, because I was always my authentic self. And in drag, I always feel like my authentic self. I know a lot of people always ask me, "What is your gender?" Like, it's Silky. I have never claimed to be trans, non-binary, gay. I'm just Silky. The people that get it, and the people that don't.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get it, that's fine. That's you.
Yeah.
But everybody around me get it. And I've just always felt like myself when I've done drag or been around drag. I just always felt right, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I know this experience, this feeling you're talking about doing this feels right to me. Being the flirt coach and giving people, offering people flirting and dating advice, which is really, I hope, always helps people just cultivate more connection in their life in all forms, platonic and romantic connections, developing a deeper connection with themselves. Connection is my number one mission, and this feels right. It's when I feel my most authentic self. But my gosh, it's taken, I mean, I'm 38 years old at the time of recording, and it's taken me a long time, or what feels like a long time, to arrive at this point. And so I want to, I think, spend a moment here talking about authenticity, which is a huge part of confidence. And what do you think? Because we hear advice all the time. I've said it, right? Be yourself, be authentic, be true to yourself. Some version of that type of advice, but like, what does that mean? I really am curious to hear your perspective, to give some context to that.
To me, okay, it's simply think it, do it.
Oh.
So if it came to mind and you did it, that should be your authentic self.
Okay.
And that's simply what it is for me. And I feel like I'm my authentic self around people, because if I think it, I do it. And a lot of times what being authentic is living in the moment and not beating around the bush.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a part of authenticity. Yeah.
Yeah. And just being my authentic self every day, like living in reality, knowing what it is. Like,
yeah.
And being authentic for me, it's just being aware.
Yeah.
And living in the moment.
That's a big, present moment awareness, and being, I know I say Delulu is a Salulu from time to time, and I do love a little tinge of Delulu. I mean, I'm a bit unhinged myself. Life's too short. You gotta have flirt with life at least a little bit. I mean, come on. But
I'm very unhinged in everything that I do.
God, sometimes the things I want to say and post about, I have to hold myself back. Yes, I do. Yeah, I should be more authentic, I think, is what I should do.
No, because sometimes our words and I said this on season 11.
Mm.
Our words and our thoughts and our opinions are gifts. And
Mm.
sometimes some people don't deserve our gifts.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, truly, this is a part of authenticity, and something that I'm glad is coming up in the conversation today is it's how I shared a bit about how I've dated in the past. And I think for you as well, of not speaking up, of holding back, of letting
Mm-hmm.
other people take the lead. And so it doesn't matter if you're dating, taking a break, if you're in a relationship, you have friends. Like, this is, I hope people feel, as they're listening to this episode, feel confident and empowered to own their voice and to speak up and to say what's on their mind. Yes, like, we're talking about social media here, and it's, yeah, I always try and be mindful of how my words may be received. I've made some mistakes in the past. I have, for the most part, a no delete policy. I double down as well, but I do know that I always want to come from this place of genuine compassion, knowing that people, the flirties, are, a lot of them are dating, and it's not easy. And I don't want to be a source of angst or discomfort for that. I hope to always be compassionate and supportive. So that's, sometimes if I have a meme I want to post that is just silly and unhinged, I'm like, okay, is this really going to accomplish the end goal here? Probably not, but I could do this other thing instead, or say this other thing. So I want to ask you, I just have a couple more questions, as I want to ask you now about Broadway ambitions. As you're preparing, as you start to get ready and prepare for something, maybe it's an audition for Broadway or a show, something like that, maybe auditioning
Mm-hmm.
for even RuPaul. Um, for the flirties that are even, getting ready for a first date, or it could be listening to this, getting ready for a job interview or a big life transition, even a
Mm-hmm.
breakup, something like that, where they really need to pull on some grit, some confidence, some determination. How do you prepare for, for like some of the big moments?
Just keep working,
Okay.
honestly. But I was preparing for Drag Race. You have to get all these garments, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm old fashioned. Still to this day now, if you go in my bedroom, I have poster boards on the wall and I write things out.
Mm-hmm.
And I write the goals and I write what's needed and what
Okay.
I have and what I got to pack to go with it. So I'm like very visual in that
Okay.
sense. That's how I prepare for Drag Race. I only auditioned for Drag Race one time, and it was very.
Wow. Really?
That, hmm
Wow.
I
Congratulations.
didn't. Thank you. I didn't have any plans when I auditioned. It was just like, this is what I got,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what's going to happen, and
Yep.
it was just like, yeah,
Making it work.
I just didn't care.
Yeah. Okay.
At the time, like in my mindset when I auditioned, I was preparing for Miss Continental and everything failed. So I was like, shoot, what else can go wrong? I'm gonna audition for Drag Race. And I
Mm.
ended up getting on. So I would say just keep working.
Okay.
Don't think too hard or overthink it.
Silky, I just got, I think, one more question for you. And this one was, I saved it for the end. This was the most asked question for this episode, and it is around rejection, failure, disappointment, maybe even embarrassment, something. We're playing in this space for a moment. And how do you bounce back, or perhaps rebuild confidence when you've been let down, you've been rejected, when something didn't go right the way you thought it was going to go? Yeah, I would love to hear your perspective on that.
I'm really like a fuck you type of person.
Okay.
I
Okay.
be like, fuck you, and I move on.
Okay.
And every chance I get to shade you, I do it. I
Okay.
think about my last breakup, which was actually last year around this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew we was getting to that point. And it's so crazy because this guy met my mom. And I had told my mom, it was the first guy my mama ever met.
Mm-hmm.
Running joke in my family that I wasn't really gay because they never seen me around a man.
Uh-huh.
I just never brought them around my family.
Right.
And this guy met my mom, and I had already told her, like, Mom, I don't know if this is going to work out, so don't get too attached.
Mm-hmm.
She loved the guy, absolutely loved him.
Okay.
And right afterwards, I broke up with him. And I knew it was coming, and I cried for like 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually driving my belongings from LA to Houston. And maybe it was a little motivation from Celsius, the energy drink.
The energy drink. I've had a few
It
of
was the
those.
first time I ever had one of those.
They'll take you up.
And I literally drove and cried for 24 hours.
Mm. Yeah.
And I ended up stopping in San Antonio, Texas, because I had a friend was just like, stop here and, have a drink and rest up, get a hotel. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. I stopped in San Antonio, Texas, and I found myself crying in the bar. Mm-hmm. And my homegirl who drove with me from LA to San Antonio never noticed that I cried in the car because she like slept the whole time. But I like cried. And when she would wake up, I'd be like, but I cried the entire time because I knew like I had to. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting in the bar crying, and I was telling her, and I was writing him a letter.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just got to put me first. I was like, very empire. I got to put me first, Lucius. I got to put me first. And I was literally saying that in the club. That's how I know that Celsius had got to me. And my cutoff game is real severe. I sent him the letter, blocked him on everything.
Okay.
And I don't think I cried anymore, but I felt the pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like, even when I get rejection or failure, shortly afterwards, every time, it always seemed like something happens to get me out of it. So, for example, in this particular situation, I end up hooking up with the mover.
Okay. All right. I mean, I think that some of the Flirties will relate. I do.
It wasn't even intentional.
Yeah.
I hired these movers. I drove all my stuff from LA because the moving companies were being ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was just like, you know what? I ain't got nothing to do. I'm off this week. I go to LA, drive my stuff. And I had movers at the house to put everything where it needed to be, basically. Take it inside, take it upstairs if it needed to go upstairs.
Yeah.
The movers did all of that.
Yeah.
And so the mover left, I guess enough for his partner. Wouldn't notice, came back and was just like, can I take a shower here?
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I know what this is going to be. Here go the towels.
Yeah. That's got...
He's like, it was very that, like, let's get in the pool first.
Okay.
I was like, you got swimming clothes? We don't need swimming clothes. Get in with me.
Okay.
Then take a shower.
How to build back confidence after a heartbreak. Look for those new opportunities.
And it always came to me. Even after Drag Race, I lost Drag Race. Yeah, season 11, I lost Drag Race. And, child, I went on a world tour.
Yeah, you did.
So it was just like, the people still love me. I'm making money. I lost All-Star 6. Child, went on a tour. Made a ton of money. Lost Canada versus the world. Made a ton of money. Went on tour. So it's like, every time something bad happened or I get rejection or disappointment.
Yeah.
I remember I auditioned I always wanted to be a college speaker. And there's an organization called Campus Speak. And I applied and I wasn't selected to be a motivational speaker. And here come the next 3 years, I only did college gigs.
Wow.
So it kind of worked out itself.
Yeah.
So I guess my reaction or my advice is, if anything go bad, what's meant for you is meant for you. I always say what God has for you is for you.
Yeah.
So anytime I've had rejection or disappointment, I have always persevered. And part of that is making sure that you're around the right people.
Yeah.
My sister just came to Houston to interview for jobs, and she was noticing the people that are around me. She was like, they are so encouraging and so motivational. Some of them are people that I want to get to their level one day.
Yeah.
And I told her, you have to reevaluate yourself and what you surround yourself with every day.
Yeah.
And that's something that I do. I surround myself with people that work hard, that has goals for life, that achieve things. I don't really hang out with people that are just barely making it. And I know this is a tough world and some people are just barely making it. But sometimes you have to put a goal in your mind and always reach to achieve it.
Yeah.
And if you're not a person that is reaching to achieve your goals, I just can't be around you. So anytime I've gotten disappointment or rejection, I've always been surrounded with love.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful way to conclude this conversation. Is now I'm thinking back to how we started building confidence there, looking in the mirror, right, as a kid. And then I can see this. You've always worked hard, showed up for yourself, surrounded yourself with good people, love that, had love in your life. And it just like, yeah, look, thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm just like so happy to record with you. My only final question is how the Flirties can find you, follow you, if you got some tours coming up, if they can catch you in person. Yeah.
All right. Well, you can follow me on social media, Silky Ganache. That's all of my social medias. Go to silkyganache.com if you like new merchandise. But I've made a vow to myself because every year I'm always working on something by the end of the year. And this year I said, I just want to continue my goals, finish my gigs. I want to date.
Yes.
To enjoy the rest of the year like a normal human being.
I love that.
Being on Drag Race, we don't have a normal life anymore.
Yeah.
And I just want to have a normal life for the rest of the year and to plan 2025. So that's what I'm doing for the rest of the year. I'm planning 2025. I'm continuing vocal training for next year. Finishing all the gigs that I have. And moving on.
I love it.
So that's what I'm doing. Nothing big. I'm not on any tours for the rest of the year. Which is a little crazy for me because usually I am. But this year, we're taking a break.
I love to hear it. Living with this new intention, purpose, setting yourself up for 2025, and best of luck to you. I'm gonna check in for an update on what's going on with this new man.
Oh, please! I may be calling you for some advice because, honey, I'm at a place now where I'm gonna have to today tell him some of my insecurities, and it's gonna tell him a lot. Because I'm like one that I would stay up at night because my mind would it's not that I'm worried. My mind be playing out every scenario.
Yeah.
And it was even like that with drag, in Drag Race. I'd be up all night come on, Snatch, you can go like this.
I can relate to that. I do the same thing sometimes, for sure. Yeah. Thinking of episode ideas, questions I want to ask, video ideas. Yeah, here we go. Thinking. But thank you so much for being a part of the show today, Silky, and officially part of the Flirt fam.
Oh, thank you.
All right, y'all, that's a wrap on this episode of Flirtations, the confidence episode with Silky Nutmeg Ganache. Thank you to Silky for being a part of this show today. And thank you to you, the Flirties, for listening, for tuning in, for streaming wherever you may be in the world. I can't thank you enough for being here as together we work on this mission of the flirt, which is ultimately always about connection. The connections we're going to make with others out there flirting and dating, the connections we're going to form platonically with our friends and in our other relationships, and the connection we're going to have with ourselves. Of course, that's a big part of it. So thank you so much for listening. That's going to do it for me here at Flirt Headquarters. I invite you now to please rate, review this episode, share it with a friend, maybe even go on to a previous episode. You're catching up. Maybe there's one after this. Yeah, I invite you to stick around and listen to more of Flirtations. Okay, officially signing off here. My name is Benjamin. I'm the Flirt Coach and Gay Libra. Thank you so much for listening and flirty. Happy flirting.